Welcome to the second edition of our prep football preview. We're going to try to do things a little bit different this time. Instead of asking these guys to break down a game, we're going to give them three key questions. Each of them have about 30 seconds to answer, and we're just going to see where it goes from there. The first question is, and I'll let Phil start it off, what aspect of this prep season have you been most surprised about this year?
I just think Vesper City's been a big surprise. I mean, we knew they were going to be better this year, but I don't know if we really anticipated them being this good. I mean, they've been really impressive, especially as of late. I was really impressed last week the way they went to East Rutherford and did really well there. So, they're off to a 4-1 start. I mean, they got a chance to have their most wins since, what was it, 94 when they had a 10-win season. So I've been really impressed with them so far.
And that was the year when they had two NFL players, Norris McCleary and Philip Crosby. It's interesting that's come up this week with Julian Roush of Ashbrook trying to become our second NFL guy with Warren Robinson.
Right.
To me, the big surprise may just be that there's such parity in the Big South.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I expected South Point to be good. Knew that Ashbrook would have some growing pains, especially when they lost Austin Scott early in the year, and they have. The other schools, it's really kind of a week-to-week situation, almost based on matchups. Certainly, Marshall Williams at Hunter House is really a terrific talent.
Right.
Maybe we might have underestimated just how daunting the rebuilding challenges were going to be for both North Gaston and East Gaston. And then I've not seen Forest View play yet, so I don't have a handle on them from a personal perspective. And then looking at the comparative scores, I don't have a real good handle on them. So certainly a big win for them to beat Kings Mountain, and maybe they're getting ready to kind of turn the corner. It shapes up, as it has in recent years, to be a real challenging, competitive Big South schedule, and it has been ever since that league has been formed.
Speaking of leagues and conferences, I would list your three conference champions, or how you think things will shake out in the three coverage conferences.
Well, as I just said, the Big South is so parity-driven, but it's hard to pick against South Point. And without knowing the outcome of this week's Ashbrook-Crest game, I sort of feel like it's going to come down to that last game of the year. South Point's going to Crest. I feel like Crest, young team, they're going to get better throughout the year. South Point's kind of the established power. Will be a tough road game. I think you've got to favor South Point at this point in the Big South. Southern Piedmont, boy, it's hard to pick against Lincoln, but, when you have a Josh Wilson and a Keith Rundeman like they do at East Lincoln, the do factor would be with them. They certainly played Lincoln as close as you can play them last year without getting wins in two different games against them. I'm going to go with them a little. Maybe see if East Lincoln can pull that thing out. I like Phil was saying the same thing. Bessemer City is certainly a dark horse candidate, but I'm going to go with East Lincoln. And the Southwestern, it's going to be the winner of that first game between Shelby and Kings Mountain, I think. I mean, they've been the most impressive teams. Kings Mountain has shown a great deal of improvement. Last week's loss to Forest View, a big step back, because it's the kind of game that they've got to be able to win a conference championship. And certainly Shelby, as we've all seen for all of our lifetimes, always gets better at the end of the year. And Kings Mountain's got probably the best time to catch them, because I think it's going to be after Brevard and North Mac, or North Mac and Brevard, two challenging physical non-conference opponents. So Shelby, if they're ever going to be dinged up, Kings Mountain's got a chance to catch them at that point.
How about you, Phil?
Big South's easy. South Point. When you got a big South Point, I mean, they're rolling. I don't think anybody can stop their offense, and I think that's going to be enough to, if not run the table, then at least go through with only one loss. And even one loss in this league could lead to a conference championship. I just think South Point's the runaway favorite at this point. They're looking great. Southern Piedmont, I'm going with Lincoln and Steele. I've seen them twice, and it's just a matter of reloading this year. They've got a bunch of speed. They're really aggressive up front defensively, and until somebody knocks them off, they're still the champions in my mind in that league. But a real big game this week is North Lincoln, East Lincoln, and those two teams are going to be a factor, as well as Bessemer City. So we'll see. But right now, you give the edge to Lincoln. As far as the Southwestern, as much as I want to pick Kings Mountain, they haven't proven they can win a big game yet this season. They couldn't do it against Crest last week. They couldn't hold on against Forest View. And until they prove they can win a big game, I can't predict them to win a conference championship. I have to go with Shelby. Shelby's vulnerable this year, but right now they're still the champions, and I think they have to be the favorite at this point.
Final question for this one. Who is your favorite quote in the area, and why?
Well, this was funny. Desmond Lowry, the South Point quarterback, just gave me a great line in the preseason. He said, when he was talking about being the preseason favorites, he said, everybody's going to be sticking to us like mayonnaise on bread. That to me, I don't know exactly what that means, but it's funny. It's the liveliest quote I'll probably have all season long. So right now he's at the top of the list.
You know, I go round and round with this, and a lot of it goes back to my childhood growing up in Bowling Springs, watching these guys play at Gardner Webb. But I've always enjoyed the interaction I've had with Coach Devine at South Point, Coach Briggs at Ashbrook, and Coach Kirby at Crest. These are guys I've known since I was a little boy. They surprise me at times with things they say, but the one thing I can say about all three of them, they are almost too blunt and too forthright to a fault. They'll tell you exactly how they feel about stuff, even when you kind of question them and say, "You sure you want me to put that in the paper?" And but I go back with those guys, and I've always enjoyed my interaction and relationship with all three of those coaches, and they'll surprise me even though I've known them for so many years.
Good job this week. That'll wrap it up for the week 2 of the previews. And if you have any questions you'd like for these guys to answer, feel free to send them in to sports@GastonGazette.com, and we may read them. That'll wrap it up.